Welcome y'all to Heavy Jammin' Record Song and Download Review. This is Duke, your friendly neighborhood music freak, and I'm here to fill your playlist with some rock and roll, or at least what I consider it to be. That could be anything from the quietest moments of a Joni Mitchell or Iron and Wine song to the ear-shattering sounds of Motorhead, Mastodon, and beyond. I want to take y'all on a musical journey and hope y'all ready for the ride. Come along. What makes a good or great album? Amongst other things, if it stays listenable, enjoyable, and refreshing over a longer period of time and many listens. Does it always have to have a hit, or can it be a collection of well-crafted songs that you never get tired of hearing, sometimes in the background as your personal soundtrack, other times to pull you out of a dreary situation, or just to comfort you with familiar sounds and melodies? One of these records for me is Roots to Branches, Jethro Tull's 19th studio album from 1995. I remember buying this when it was released, basically on a whim. I guess I liked the name and the cover. It seemed so perfect Tull for the 90s. I still had many more of his classic repertoire to buy, and to be honest, I still do. But something about this caught my eye, much like Crest of a Knave many years before, and I've never regretted that choice. You know, when someone has such a large, and at that time still growing, discography like Jethro Tull, many a good record falls under the radar. Like for many others, my money doesn't grow on trees, so it was not always a good economical decision to keep up with every release. And to be honest, in this day and age of streaming services, you would still be hard-pressed to discover the gems hidden in such a large catalog. I've been listening to this CD regularly since I acquired it in 1995, at first as a whole from the CD, and over time as random songs appeared on my MP3 player or phone or hard drive, mixed in between what might be lurking in the shadows to assault my ears and senses. I still don't subscribe to any streaming service, since I've been collecting music for as long as I can remember, and have the majority of what I want to hear stored digitally. I just let everything run randomly, and let come what may, and I never get tired of hearing any song from this album when it pops up. I have always listened to music at work over some form of sound system or another, sometimes much to the annoyance of my coworkers, who have always consisted of a very eclectic mix of individuals. Everyone knows Aqualung, of course, which is one of the main classic rock staples, and everyone gets a kick out of Locomotive Breath, Cross-Eyed Mary, and the title track, even if they aren't much into progressive rock. Other Tull releases, on the other hand, can be subject of scorn and contempt, especially when dealing with fans of simple pop, Molly swallowing techno heads, orange spike-haired punk rockers, or wannabe OG hip-hoppers. Oddly, no song on this album was ever a cause for controversy. It would usually just do its thing in the background, and if there was a reaction, it would usually be a surprise that it was Jethro Tull, followed by statements such as how good the music is. There aren't any hits on here, but the melodies are spot on and enjoyable to the ear. It is proggy enough to keep any Tull fan excited throughout, but the time, rhythm, and melody changes are never jarring to the point that a chop block rocker would want to throw a beer can at you. If you are a Jethro Tull fan, give this one a try next time you have guests over who might fall into one of the anti-prog rock categories I mentioned. Put it on as a background music for a good conversation. If your friends complain, let me know. I'll owe you one, but would really be surprised if they did. Roots to Branches falls under the category of many a latter-day release from such artists like Mark Knopfler, Van Morrison, Bruce Hornsby, and the like. You won't hear any of these on FM radio. That doesn't take away from the high quality of songcraft and musicianship, though. Ian Anderson had visited India prior to the recording of this album, and you can definitely hear Eastern and Middle Eastern influences in the songwriting, which he mixes well with more Western elements of jazz, blues, and progressive rock. The latter being ever present, but in a much more subtle manner as to never disrupt the magical flow of each song. All songs do have their fair share of complex structure and multiple time and tempo changes, but they remind me more of a small but powerful river, with the listener floating through various degrees of speeds and occasional rough spots while always staying in control of the boat and never losing the fun of the ride. The quiet spots are never boring, but give you time to enjoy the lush green surrounding, hear the chirps, croaks, snarls, and howls of the wild animals hiding deep inside the forest, and eye various creatures swimming and slithering through the water. The rhythm section is always spot on and interesting without drawing too much attention from the whole. The guitar, keys, and flute intertwine perfectly and swirl around like a Middle Eastern belly dancer, mesmerizing and enticing you with her mastery of rhythm and flowing diaphanous shawl. Ian Anderson's vocals and lyrics create different scenes and environments that all seem to exist in the same atmosphere and theme, like different episodes of Frank Miller's Sin City, albeit in a much more exotic setting. This is an album of its own kind through and through. The album clocks in at 60 minutes with 11 songs, all of which I thoroughly enjoy. So if you get a chance to listen to it from front to end, give it a try. Being as it is, it was kind of hard to select songs for a playlist, but here are my picks, though you might need to give the whole thing a try to really decide on your favorites. Roots to Branches opens up with a Middle Eastern intro and Ian Anderson's flute leading to powerful guitars. You immediately feel transformed into a world where modern and old mold into each other with typical cryptic lyrics setting the mood over the intertwining instrumentation. The chorus and flute are hypnotizing, keeping you lost in castles, cathedrals, mosques, and hordes of pilgrims searching for salvation.
Rare and precious chain. Do I have to tell
Rare and Precious Chain transmits you into a shady world somewhere in the Medina of Casablanca, Marrakesh, or Kashmir. The aforementioned belly dancer is the object of the singer's desire, and the arrangements build up the intensity of his passion and lust for her. Is the chain a sign of affection, a gift to elevate her beauty, or a weapon to force her into submission, or is she in control of him, the mistress to which her submissive bows? Are we suddenly in Bangkok, Saigon, or Hanoi? Out of the Noise is a fun rocker about a dog hustling his way through busy streets with his mind on someone else's dinner, all while trying to avoid being run over or he himself becoming someone else's dinner. The arrangements keeps an urgency that almost makes you feel like you yourself are the dog, chasing through the streets, or an action camera constantly in hot pursuit of the protagonist. Short but exciting. One of the most progressive songs on the album is Dangerous Hands, starting with Anderson's flute soloing over Mark Murray's heavy riffing guitar. The drums, bass, guitar, and flute keep things exciting with heavy prog, riff rock, Steely Dan-esque jazzy interludes, and hard rocking chorus, all ending in a double bass drum and organ-driven guitar and bass solo. Ian Anderson's cryptical lyrics set you in a Bedouin tent in the Arabian desert with a suitor wondering if his soon-to-be veiled bride is a crazy woman. In Valley, the flute leads us up a mountain with a dark secret. The acoustic guitar and soft percussion underscore the protagonist's lamenting of a situation. The beat picks up to hard-rocking riffs and swirling keyboards interlaced with acoustic segments, leading us to this landscape of lost humanity, whose home seems more like a prison, all being held hostage by their fear and hatred for their fellow citizens down there in the valley.
Brings jasmine tea on a painted tray.
Stuck in the August Rain is a melancholy ballad with a beautiful, catchy melody. We are looking through the eyes of a man weighted down with the worries of the morning. His lover caringly brings him tea and tries to soothe his soul. You might think this is too mellow for a playlist, but to me, it was always a nice and enjoyable surprise when it appeared on my random mix. The song is about worries, but also that love that tries to heal those, something we can all relate to. Let me know what you think about these songs, or the album as a whole, what your favorite Jethro Tull album or songs are. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep on rocking. Cheers!